There's a weird thing about being a teenager. Everyone tells you that you are supposed to be in the best years of your life. Your childhood is ending, your future is ahead of you. You have energy, you have time, you have almost no responsibilities. But somehow, a lot of teenagers feel more lost than ever. You wake up, you go to school, you come home, you open your phone. You watch other people live their life. Someone is traveling, someone is rich, someone is becoming famous. Someone looks like they have everything figured out, and you sit here thinking, what am I even doing with my life? The scary part is that you might not even notice it happening, because wasting your teenage years doesn't always look like doing nothing. Sometimes it looks like being busy all day, but never actually moving forward. One of the biggest lies teenagers believe is, I have plenty of time. And honestly, it makes sense why we think that. When you're 15, 16, or 17, adulthood feels impossibly far away. You think, I start working hard later, I'll take care of my health later, I learn that skill later, I'll become the person I want to be later. But the problem with later is that it always moves. Later becomes tomorrow, tomorrow becomes next week becomes next year, and suddenly you're 20 years. Looking back, wondering where all the time went. The teenage years feel long while you're living them, but they disappear when you look back. Think about how fast 5 years went. A few years ago, you were a completely different person. Different interests, different friends, different dreams. In the next 5 years will probably pass just as quickly. The question is, who will you become during that time? Let's talk about the biggest distraction of a generation, your phone. And before someone says phones aren't bad, you're right. Phones are not evil. They're tools. But the problem is that most of them aren't using them. They're using us. Every day, millions of teenagers spend hours watching other people's life. You watch someone else's workout, someone else's vacation, someone else's success, and someone else's relationship. And slowly, you become a spectator in your own life. You know everything happening in everyone else's world, but you don't remember what's happening in your own. You know the latest trends, the latest drama, the latest memes, but you don't know what your goals are. You don't know what you want, and you don't know what you're capable of. And the worst part, the algorithm doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about becoming successful, it only cares if you keep watching. Because your attention is valuable. Every minute you spend scrolling is a minute you could have possibly built something. Reading, training, learning, creating, and improving. The difference between someone who changes their life and someone who stays stuck is often not talent. It's what they do with the hours that nobody sees. Another way teenagers waste their years is by spending too much time to impress people. Think about how much energy goes into worrying about what other people think. What if they judge me? What if I look stupid? What if people don't like me? And because of that fear, people hide who they really are. They don't start the hobby they want, they don't wear what they like, they don't chase their own goals, because they're afraid of being different. Here's something nobody tells you. Most people are too focused on themselves to judge you. Everybody's fighting their own battles. Everyone is fighting their own insecurities. You're wasting your teenage years trying to look perfect to people who aren't really thinking about you. The people who truly become successful are usually the ones who start caring about being accepted by everyone. They chose it themselves. The human brain loves comfort, and being comfortable feels good. Sleeping in, watching videos, eating junk food, and avoiding difficult things. But comfort has hidden costs. Because every time you choose the easy option, you train yourself to avoid challenges. And eventually, you become someone who always chooses comfort over growth. The problem is, your dreams live outside your comfort zone. You want confidence? You have to do uncomfortable things. You want skills? You have to be bad at something first. You want success? You have to accept failure. Nobody becomes great by staying comfortable. Every person you look up to has a history of doing things they didn't feel ready for. They started before they were confident, they failed before they succeeded. They struggled before they improved. The difference is that they kept going. Now maybe you're listening to this thinking, great, I already wasted years, I'm behind. But that's another trap. You're not supposed to have everything figured out as a teenager. Nobody does. Your teenage years are not about becoming perfect. They're about discovering who you are. You're supposed to make mistakes. You're supposed to try things. You're supposed to fail. But there's a difference between making mistakes and staying stuck. There's a difference between relaxing and escaping life. There's a difference between enjoying your youth and wasting it. Going out with friends, that's not wasting your life. Playing games, that's not automatically wasting your life. And watching movies, that's also not wasting your life. The problem is when your entire life becomes avoiding the things you really should do. So, how do we actually make most of the years? First, build yourself. Learn skills, exercise, read, create, improve. Not because you need to become a millionaire at 16, not because you need to prove yourself, but because becoming a better version of yourself feels good. Second, spend time with the people who make you better. Your environment matters. The people around you influence what you believe is normal. If everyone around you has no ambition, it becomes easier to lose yours. Third, do the things that create memories. Your teenage years aren't only about productivity. Don't forget to live, talk to people, try new things, go outside, make mistakes, have stories to remember. Because one day these moments will become memories. One day you're going to look back at this exact moment. You're going to remember being this age. You're going to remember your dreams, your fears, your choices. And the question is, will you be proud of the person you became? Nobody expects you to have everything figured out. Nobody expects you to be perfect. But you owe it to yourself to try. Because the teenage years are not just waiting in a room before your real life begins. This is your life, right now, today. The small choices you make when nobody is watching, those are the choices that create your future. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. Because one day, tomorrow becomes yesterday.